All right, welcome to Reso Biz, the People's Choice, episode number 7. This week we're going to work on not so much the body of the guitar, but rather the neck. And then we're going to have a reveal of what holes, whether F holes, sound holes, and I guess it's kind of all holes this week. We got a forward hole, sound forward hole, whether we're going to put that in or not. And then we have to make some more choices, so stay with us. Hi, I'm Byrl with Byrl Guitars, and welcome to Reso Biz, where everything is greater with a resonator. So episode number 7's reveal. This week we needed to decide on whether we're going to have sound forward hole in our guitar, and it was a very strong yes. We will be putting a sound forward hole in this guitar, so we'll have to make choices, not so much this week, but we'll have to make choices on what kind of sound forward hole, the wood and all that we're going to use for there. Then also there was the option of F holes, and I've just got my template here, but we were going to put F holes in it, or we were going to have the round holes. And I just want to tell you, thank you for choosing the round holes, because they are a lot easier to cut out than the F holes. I really like the F holes in my hot rod series when I do it, and I think they have a neat look to them. But I like the round holes also. They bring a certain look and style to the guitar. And then the greatest thing for me is they are simply, I'd say 30 seconds to cut out both, where cutting out the holes, the F holes, is like 3 hours. So thank you for the simplicity that you chose for this build. We're going to cut the rim off of this. Is it the rim? No, excess, I guess I should say. So that's what I'm going to do, is I'm going to flush cut it. Get my flush cut bit on my router, and then this thing and cut that off. Now we're looking like a dope. Oh. Yes, I like that. All right. Oh, we got this neck going here, and what I've done is I took some of the scrap from when we cut this neck, and I'm putting little extensions on it to widen it, and I'll show you why here in just a second. I've got glue on here, and I'm going to clamp this up real quick. Then I'll explain what I'm doing here. I'm like overkill on the amount of wood I need here, but let's see, got the back clamp there. All right, so this is the template for the SS head, and when I get done, I gotta shape this, get this all squared up and get it just right, and all the measurements proper on it. And then there'll be the line where the nut will go, and then there'll be the center line right down the middle of it. And when I get that center line, I'll put the edge of my template on there. You kind of can see it. Anyhow, I'll get my template on there, and then I'll flip it over. But what's happened is this template, if I put it on the center just slightly, well, it's just hard to show it here. it's just slightly wider. So the neck is even all the way through right now. But this is just slightly wider. Half of it's wider than half the neck. And so what I'm doing, I'm just gluing these pieces on right here to make this thing just wide enough to catch this little bit of shoulder right here. So I'm really only after about that much extra wood. So I wasn't kidding. I put on way more wood than I need, and we're gonna be taking off most of that. But I'll draw out the shape here later, and we'll cut it all out the way we want it. But I gotta get that glued up first. So, all right. So here's our neck. I've got it squared up here. I got my lines marked on it, so everything's kind of mapped out. And I've already used my templates to draw out. I don't know if you can see it in the camera very well, but I got pencil lines on here so I can tell exactly where I need to kind of rough it into on the bandsaw and use the template. This is kind of interesting. So I got this big chunk on here, right, on these two shoulders. You think, well, Byrl, what in the world are you doing with that? I just need a little bit on each side. But I don't know where. So I always cut big chunks out and just glue them on. But if you can see right here, here's pretty much our line for, we glued this shoulder on. This is all I'm using. It's just the 1/8 inch by 1/2 inch long that I'm using of this big old piece, but we'll cut it out. So I've got my length cut. We're gonna take the table saw and cut off this piece to get the right length. So we got a space ready for our nut, and I think what we're ready to do is go cut it we'll cut a piece on the table saw, and then we'll cut this out on the bandsaw, get a little bit of a taper in it, and our neck will be ready for the next steps. Okay, here's our head trimmed up a bit, and I don't know if you can see those lines that show exactly where I got to sand it down to, but I don't use a bandsaw to do that. I use a sander. Then what we got now is these two pieces, believe it or not, come out of the piece of wood for our hole that we cut in last week. So I took and saved two pieces out of that whole thing there and made these two book matched ends, and these will be our head plate. I always take it out of the center and put it on the top, so we can have a head plate that looks like that, or we can have a busier one that came more out of the center that looks like that. So that's going to be one of your choices. So this will be one, and this will be two for the head plate. All right, so now we've got some more decisions to make here. This is almost complicated. I don't know how. There's a lot of choices here. So this is the people's choice. You get to decide. But we're building with Hackberry that we've never built with before. I've never. So it's custom, right? And that's what Byrl Guitars does anyhow. I try to be custom. So I've got these choices. We have an ebony fretboard. It's got a little bit of brown streaks in it. We have some Spalted Hackberry, and this is a new one. This isn't. I haven't done this one before, but this is a new possibility here. I have two pieces that came from the sides, I believe, and these could be book matched together so that the spalting was pretty much the same on both sides. But that, because we're going to book match at this fretboard, that's what we're dealing with. When we're putting a fretboard together, we also have this option. We could put something interesting in the center. Now here's where it gets complicated to me, because there's a lot of options depending. So if you wanted something like that, then the question is, what does it look like with binding going, or frets going across it? Then do you want these? This is a real light wood here. The name of it's not coming to my mind right now. I can also use maple. This is a little bit of tortoise you could use for binding. You can use ebony for binding. So the decide what do you want to use for frets comes to mind, which I don't know that I want to make a video or put this in the video for choice right now, but I think what you decide on a fretboard definitely makes a difference on what we do for frets and how you want to go. Obviously, if you go with, I know what I was thinking. We could take that out. We could put a maple center in it. And can you see this, how that's black and white? We can put the black against the maple and the white against the hackberry. And it's really hard to get all this to sandwich for the video, just showing. And, and you do both sides. You got to use your imagination a little bit, but we could do that, and then you'd have this same. Remember how we did you have that it didn't look that like it was going to make that much difference, but we have that little black pinstriping on both sides of the maple. You'd be getting a black-white pinstripe on this, on both sides of that flame maple center. We could make that the fretboard. And then again, what kind of frets would you want going across it? Whether it be something dark or something light. So there's an option. We could do a super custom fretboard. And what we can do is just vote on doing a super custom fretboard and worry about the details of that later. Or we can do an ebony. I'm just going to make it 3 choices this time. An ebony fretboard, or just a simple spalted hackberry fretboard. And then spalted hackberry could have some binding on it if we went dark binding, and we put dark binding on the guitar. There's all sorts of options. We're not there to those yet, but that's your choices. Spalted hackberry. Let me show you what that looks like a little bit. And the other thing I can see in my head is that this would have a Byrl logo in the end. We could do a black Byrl logo. We could do a lighter color one. And then here's the difference. You've got these different look to the way the head would finish out. I guess I kind of like that because this is already busy. And so that would look pretty neat. It kind of matches the body. You've got these dark black streaks in the body right here, both sides. And they would kind of finish out in the head. Or we could go with a dark neck, really contrast. Or we could do this super custom neck. I love having all these options, I really do. It's curious to me what you're going to go with. We can do it like that. Or we could put this. I know this is not what we're voting on, but these, that's, I don't know, have you ever seen a 2-piece fretboard before? I've never. And so that's a new thought. We can pull that off so easy because it's a square neck. We don't even touch the fretboard. All right, so 3 options. The hackberry, the ebony, or the super custom fretboard. And then we can decide how we super custom it later if we want to. So there's that. So recap, we have 2 things we got to choose on. We got to choose on a fretboard, we got to choose on head plate. First of all, the head plate, this is the first one. And I think something you want to consider, and I guess maybe I'm putting in my opinion here, and you can do whatever you want. The coloring kind of pulls this body together. That's my opinion. Now, it still does. This is much more busy, but you can see that it really pulls in the bottom here. And again, I think it makes a difference on what fretboard you go with. So here's a fretboard. If we went with a black ebony, you're going to see a lot of black, and so I think you could get real busy up here and still look pretty good. But if you go with a busy fretboard, like the Spalted Hackberry, then you might not want so busy up here. This may look good. All right, so head plate 1 or 2, you must decide. Then we have the fretboard. This is the Spalted Hackberry, just the plain Spalted Hackberry. I don't know what side would be best, but we just choose which fretboard first. So Spalted Hackberry fretboard. We could do an ebony fretboard. It's got a little bit of dark streaks in it. They're not dark streaks, but light streaks in it. They actually will disappear a little bit more. They're not quite as prominent when you get them finished out. And then we could do a super custom. So plain Hackberry, the ebony, or super custom. Those are your choices there. All right, if you liked the video, subscribe, hit the like button, and share with your friends. And also, the voting will end on Friday at 6 o'clock next week. And then we will we'll try to keep an update on our Facebook page. So if you kind of want to see where the votes are, remember they're not just, you can vote on YouTube, or you can go to our Facebook page and vote there. And we will also post this video on a lot of other sites and things, so people kind of vote from all over the place. So you can't necessarily see how the voting's doing on YouTube. So go to our website or our Facebook page and see kind of how the voting's going. We'll keep an update Monday, Tuesday, and through Wednesday on how the voting's looking. Thank you for watching, and share with your friends if you would.